A warm welcome to each one of you. This is the Naomi Talk with yours truly, Liz Kenyua. And today, for the very first time, we have a guest on set. It's no longer the one-man show that you're used to. And this is a sign of growth and progress in what we are doing. We are here to make sure we discuss real-life issues that affect us on a day-to-day basis. And at the end of the day, we hope that you'll be inspired, you'll be equipped, and you will be educated, and you'll have learned something that will make your day-to-day life easier. Karibuni sana. And before we continue, please subscribe. Subscribe.
Right away.
So karibu sana, karibu sana. Our guest is none other than Kalekye, and please tell us more about yourself.
All right. It's good to be here.
Yes.
Thanks so much for the tag. My name is Kalekye Onyango. I am married to one husband who is a male.
Yeah, it's important to emphasize, especially in the day and age we are living in.
Yes, and I'm a mother of one who's 11 months now. Today.
Congratulations.
Thank you so much. And I'm a pastor at Befa Church Gikomba.
Very good.
And I'm really excited to be here today.
Very, very good. First and foremost, congratulations.
Thank you.
One, you're a wife to one man. Two, you're a mother. And today we want to discuss about the Chronicles of our first time mom.
Yeah.
For me, I think my firstborn being 17, I may not really be so relevant. But for you, your baby is less than 1 year.
Yeah.
I know you have the myths, the truth, the realities we never told you in the bridal showers, in the baby showers, I mean. And that's what we want to really discuss on. Because sometimes someone goes through these things and they think, I'm not normal, probably I'm not woman enough, I'm not the best mother this child can ever have. So first and foremost, what is that thing or those things that you knew about parenting and you thought like, I've got this, I've got this. Then they shook you to some reality.
Having been a Sunday school worker, children's worker, I think I thought I know how to manage children. I thought I know how to, I can figure out children. And then voila, I get mine, and then I now realize where talk is cheap when you're out there. But then now when you find yourself in the real thing,
the shoe,
it hits you. It hits different.
Kabisa.
So for me, I think I had a lot of many things figured out. But then now that I'm in it, I realized, wow, it's unlearning and learning and learning again.
Actually, when you observe, when you're only observing, either even raising your own younger sisters and the brothers, your siblings, the feeling is never the same.
Yeah.
When now the baby is yours, and you have to take care of that baby, I think everything that you thought you had mastered flies out the window. And there you go, wow, I'm not sure whether I was ready for this. I don't know whether you got that experience. I think the first 24 hours, you first of all go like, was I ready for this?
Yeah.
Did you have that experience?
Of course, I had that, and I think one of my, especially the first day when the baby was brought to me after I left the delivery room, I feared even holding him because
that's common.
Over the years, our senior pastor wife would tag me to go to maternities to get our friends when they have delivered, but I would always chicken out about carrying the baby, so I would always be like, apana, isiyojibeba.
Bas.
So now when I was given mine, it was a cocktail of so many emotions, and then I would feel like I would crush her, I would finya her in a way that she would just, it's just so delicate, and so I had a lot of butterflies and a lot of uncertainties. I
hear you completely, because, well, I had that similar feeling. I think for me it was even more complicated because my baby went to ICU immediately after delivery. And so holding the baby was not what I was looking forward to after the 3 days in ICU, because the nurse gave me the baby and I remember she sneezed and I quickly returned the baby and walked away.
Allah.
Very fast. extremely fast. Zile za hii siwezani nayo kabisa. Yes. And then let me ask you about the baby showers. I don't know that you had a baby shower.
Yes, I had.
We told you all the good things. Did we tell you the reality of it?
I think nobody prepares you for some of these things, like the whole of it. You'll be told things, but then vitu kwa ground, it turns out to be totally different. You're told something and then you have this expectation and then it hits different. And once you now have that human being in your hands.
Kabisa.
Yes.
Haya. So nyinyi ndio hao, umemaliza kudeliver the first 24 hours. The world seems to be rolling and turning and moving. Lakini ukitoka hospitali, I think the experience is also different.
Yes.
Because when you're within the hospital confines, you always feel you have the backup.
Yes, yes.
Should anything happen, the nurses will be here, the doctors will be here.
Very fast.
Sasa wewe na hizo, mmefika home. Na mtoi wenu. Alafu.
I think one of the, if I can just go back a little, I think during the baby shower and also some of those things you hear from people, it's like you expecting that uncertainty. I don't know if the baby will be well. Then you're going with her home and you're not sure if she's okay. And then I remember sometime I'd be told, you check the eyes, whether they have the yellowness or whatever. And then you have to feel the heartbeat. You have to, it was a lot of
too much information. And I'm looking at this small human being and I just can't get it all together. Yeah.
And for me, I think again, I was actually, after I left the hospital, I was very sleepy. I had this.
It's a journey.
Like, so
it's a journey.
Even sleeping because I'm afraid.
I know.
It was a bit crazy. Honestly, it was crazy, but again, it's been a journey, every day learning and unlearning, and of course, having people come to just show you how to do things. One of the interesting things.
Ngoja hapo. People coming. People coming. Yeah?
Yes, I had visitors actually first week.
Really?
Yes, I did. I had.
You're a superwoman.
But not really like one which is very intense. It's just that my senior pastor's wife kept coming to just help me out.
Ile wanasemanga kugushabokeria Wakikuyu. There's a way Kikuyus call it. I'm not sure that
actually we didn't have any other person in the house. It was just me and my husband. So she'd come in several times the first week just to.
That's a real mom. Actually, yes. I hope you treat her well.
Yes, I do.
May you never forget that she's been the mother that you needed.
Because
many, I think in the urban setup, we don't have the privilege that people in the rurals have, where the first 2 months, your mother is there, doing all the stuff for you, checking on the baby, cleaning the baby for you, because that's the other challenge. Cleaning the baby, washing the baby the first 1 month. The neck is falling this way. The body is not stable. How did you hack that one?
Well, that's a story for another day. I wish I can show you the video of the first bath. During the baby shower, we had been given a basin with that canet where you lalisha baby and then you're able to
clean the baby.
Yo, some things. Nobody told me how to use that thing. So, of course, the first 1 week until the kitovu would fall, we had been told not to wash her, but just to wipe. So now, after it fell off, we had to wash. And so I was struggling. And the first time we did it, I did it with my husband. So my husband was to hold the basin.
2 people doing one job.
The video is okay. He was able to record part of it, and we watch it and we laugh at ourselves because we didn't even watch the baby, the backside, because she was crying. And then we just watched the stomach side and removed her. So it was
Oh dear.
it was actually the first birth. For me, that one story for another time.
So, oh dear viewers, if you had a challenge the first 1 week after you land home, please note you're normal. You are practically learning on the job, and nobody expects you to do it perfectly.
Yeah.
The first few, give yourself like a month, really. And that baby, after all, si mchafu sana. So, we panguza mahali unaweza,
Yeah.
and I'm not speaking as a doctor, by the way. Sorry, I'm only speaking as, well, a senior mom from experience. Huyo mtoto si mchafu sana, so don't depress yourself so much about it, because then with time the baby gains some muscles, and then now you have the confidence, you have mastered the thing. I mean, God is a creator. He makes us to learn on the job.
Yes, and it teaches us. I remember, I think one of my the first when we did the first birth, I think for me I was scared, because now I'm telling my husband, hold the basin and that kinet, I don't know how to call it. And then he's holding and the baby is crying. So I only washed here. Like, yeah, we didn't wash.
And very fast. I'm sure it was very fast.
We didn't even wash the face and the head. So I after that I talked to God by day about it, and I told God, like, I've never done this before. I've never raised my siblings. I only have a younger brother, and I didn't do that job. So I literally didn't know how to clean up to bear a child. So I literally prayed and told God, like, teach me. And then I think the next week my mom came, and of course the wife to my senior pastor would keep coming. So she did the first cleaning, the first one, like the first proper cleaning
until the baby sleeps immediately.
And she massaged her so well. And then the second time my mom came, and she was able to birth the child. And then again I'm observing, and like, what was I doing? Because now they're holding the baby like this, lowering like this, and then cleaning
the head.
And then I was like, what was I doing? Because me, I dipped in the basin net and poured the water.
The grace yenye God anapeanga first time moms.
Yeah.
Kai, you goof here, you make mistakes here. I think he's watching from heaven sometimes and also laughing. He does. Wondering, oh, you mean you're this bad at this job right now, but don't worry, you'll master it.
Yeah.
It's a gradual. There's also that feeling, someone, I don't know whether you got it, where when a senior mom who's been there gets to the house, you feel like, whoo, some rescue has come.
Yeah.
You used to get that feeling.
Yes.
And when they say, now it's time to go, you almost want to say, aki weye msiende, mnaweza tu kaka kidogo, sijui ni woga nini, first time mama anakuanga nayo. And it's very common, by the way. We're telling these things are common. The problem is, I think for us who are also senior, we go to the place where we mastered it and look like we have it all together. And so we confuse the younger moms to the point they are thinking like they are not okay.
Yeah.
They are. You are very much okay. Actually,
moms.
Yes, I have had some phone calls with some first-time moms, and sometimes they call you at 10 and tell you, you know what, my baby has just made a sound, and I'm like, she's like, is that normal? And I'm like, yeah. It's very normal that you're learning on this job. So let me come to your husband. So how was his learning experience like for that, like the first week?
Well, all of us, it was quite a learning, but I loved the way he was
determined,
willing, and so intentional about it. The first 1 week I was doing diaper wrongly, like the side which is supposed to
front, back, front.
Yes. And one day he told me, no, it's supposed to be this way, and I'm like, no, it's supposed to be this other way. Until now we had another lady come in, and she watches me and she's like, you did that wrong. It's not supposed to be that way. And then my husband is like, nilikuwa nishamwambia. So Isaac was very intentional, and even to date, he's really been intentional in every developmental milestone of our baby, and so he's learning very well.
Shida inakuanga, I think, for the mothers, they feel like I've got this. Yet they're also struggling.
Yeah.
The same way the guy is struggling to learn. But there's a tendency to make this guy feel like, ngoja, I think I'm mastering the game faster than you are. You may not say it, but, you know, behave in a manner, you know, trying to insinuate, like, even when the baby cries at night and he makes her suggestions, you're almost saying like, I know why she's crying. I know why he's crying. And all that kind of stuff. I don't know whether you had that experience. Because I've had it a lot from first time moms when the husband speak. It's like, I feel like my wife thinks I came knowing everything, or I don't know anything. How would you, like, now from your experience, which is still very raw, how would you challenge a first time mom on that one?
Well,
to bring in and accommodate the spouse.
I think I wasn't very accommodative at first, because when especially the baby would get the hiccups, I don't know why I had gotten it. I have to, like, it's gonga the back, like, it's like the baby is choking or something. And so when she has hiccups and my husband is not doing anything, I'm like, you don't know.
Na nyinyi wote wawili ni raw. You are fresh students in this class.
So especially on the hiccup part, it used to be a bit, I would feel like my husband is not doing the right thing. And so I would always be like, Mshike hivi, you're supposed to do this, you're supposed to, and sometimes he just look at me and then just
go quiet.
Yeah,
oh my goodness. The men also suffer in this case. We apologize on behalf of every man that has gone through this ordeal. But please note, it is part of our DNA. We were born nurturers. So we almost want to nurture everything and everyone around us.
Sure.
So our sincere apologies. Now breastfeeding the baby. How soon, how quickly did you master that skill?
Well,
Kizungumkuti. Hapo acha nisikie nijue kama hata mimi nilianguka.
This one was trouble. The first time after, when we were in hospital, just immediately after the baby was brought to me, she refused actually to suffer. So the nurse kept trying to, like, tickle her, try to do something so that she can. And that time, my breasts were becoming
engorged,
bigger and painful, because the milk, it's like it's. And then now, when at least finally she hacked it, she wasn't latching on so well, so I got cracked nipples. And that one, the mother of all troubles.
For me, it's like still painful up to now, because with all my 3 babies, I've had the experience of cracked nipples. That tells you I never got to master at all. And so it is normal.
Yeah.
You're normal.
Wow. I had cracked nipples for like 3 days, and it was so painful. And then now I have a lot of milk. I can't pump it because, again, it's also very painful. And then again, latching the baby, it was quite an experience. I don't want that the second baby. I don't want to experience.
Allow me not to guarantee and promise, because for me, with my 3, I've always found myself with cracked nipples. Nile, ukisikia mtoto it's time to breastfeed, unachukua stool, unakanyaga kwanza, unaekelea uchungu hapo, alafu unampea. With my firstborn, with my secondborn, and with my thirdborn. But I appreciate that I'm very normal. Somehow there are those who master with their first babies. That's okay. I think for me it became complicated because I got, with my first baby, because I never breastfed the first 3 days. So it graduated to mastitis. As a mastitis is more painful than even the engorged and the cracked, because you even have fevers now. You have to be put on antibiotics. And then there's an injection they give that immediately released everything. Yani nilisimama tu, ikamwagika. Ndio zika deflate. So that experience, I think, ilikaa in my head for some time. And now coming home with the baby and starting to now tell myself, yeah, you are a good mother, convincing yourself. I never had the milk problem, but the latching, the baby latching, For me, I think within 6 weeks, now I was confident. I was a pro. 6 weeks, not 2 weeks, 6. Ndio nilifika hiyo place ya kusema mimi ni pro.
Wow.
Good. Clinic ya kwanza.
Clinic ya kwanza. First, where I delivered, my baby had not been given that the first injection they are given. So
which one? Squeeze is mingi.
I don't know if it's the BCG or something, but there is an injection she had not been given because the hospital does not give that injection on a Friday, on a weekend. So they had told us to go after 7 days. No, after 7 days or 2 weeks. After 2 weeks, I guess. So by the time we were going, actually I had 1 day remaining because the nurses were like, if ingepitisha, it would not have been relevant, effective. So the first clinic was trial and error, of course, because I think I didn't go the day I was told to go, and so I because number one, I feared traveling because of I had a cut of the pain. When we were coming home after delivery, I didn't like the experience barabara, so I feared. So I didn't go the day I was supposed to go, but then again I still went, and the nurses we found were good, and we were given the injection, and then now the rest followed, the other injections, and I think being prepared, you know, the way people
vile tunaambianga watu mtoto analianga usiku yote atapatwa na fever. Did you experience that?
Actually remember going that morning. I met one of our neighbors and she was like, oh, today you're going for the injection, and she was like, mtalala. And before we left the house, because I had been told a lot of that, babies get a lot of fever and they cry a lot, like we won't sleep. I love sleep. So we literally prayed for her. We laid our hands on that girl and prayed, and even prayed for the nurses who are going to inject her. We prayed that they will have gifted hands. And honestly speaking, after that injection, she cried in the room, but when we went back home, she was okay. But the fevers were high, so I didn't give her anything. But I remember, of course, calling some moms, and one told me, you can apply actually kitungu, you know, the kitungu matawi.
Come, let's gather hapa. Hata hiyo mimi sijui.
Told me I can apply the kitungu ya matawi. And then another one had told me I can put ice cube. And then another one had told me I can give either calpol or
hii kitungu unapaka before or after?
After the injection. Before, I had been told I can give calpol or Panadol, yes. But I did none of that.
So sorry, kitungu okay, ni sawa, it's good to learn. Kitungu ilikuwa isaidiana?
I don't know. I was just told you can apply kitungu after, she will be fine. But I didn't apply any, I didn't give any medication before or after. So the first time, the fevers were high, yes, but we didn't give her anything. Yes.
Namlilala.
By then she didn't cry.
So you see some of these things, by the way, people just scare us for no reason.
But now she had to sleep without clothes, which again I feared, because you're like, this skin is very delicate, the cold.
Kwanza wacha tukuzi hapo kwa dressing the baby. Are you the type that dressed the baby like a Mount Kenya baby going to visit Mount Kenya itself, the tip? Ama
why are you like that? You have to protect her, you know?
Those things. We also made mistakes. Nupata mtoto amebona viko 3 kakitu nikaduka kwa pale ndani. Najua iko almost 40 degrees.
I was there. I think I did that until she got the baby rash, you know, the heat rash, and it was so bad. Like I kept taking photos and sending to different people, asking, "Is this normal? What is this?" You know, at some point I wanted probably to take her to hospital because I don't know what it is.
Ungerudishwa mbio, ungeulizwa tu swali moja. Are your first time, mom? Yes. Take your baby back home.
Actually, the good thing I did, when I sent the first photo, I sent it to a doctor, but a dentist friend of mine. I really honor Dr. Mtua. He helped me. So when I sent the photo, he told me this is just heat rash. You need to punguza the clothing.
Karibu dispute. Useme nitotoe nguo, how? Like how?
Yes, because you're like this. She's very delicate. How do you expose her to cold?
My baby was a walking wardrobe.
November, December, cold or hot. So I think I overdressed her.
My baby, my firstborn was a walking wardrobe. I would dress her. Kwanza jioni, dress her properly. Usiku mtoto analia. Yeah. Alafu unamfunikia na blanketi.
Yes.
But ukiinua anachakulia. That's when I realized,
I experienced that.
I'm just overdoing this thing.
Yes.
So nikakuja tu nikafika place ya kukubali. Then akiamka, the whole space mali alikuwa amelala, it's almost wet.
Yeah.
Juu ni wale wa kusweat. Unajua watoto kwa different. Ni wale wa kusweat kabisa. Mgongo rash. Man, first time moms. The things we do. So then I went to see a doctor. Alikuwa na rash mbaya huku kwa mgongo. Daktari ananiambia this is not good because hii sweat ikisha cool hata ina affect mtoto, ni kama tu kumwacha kwa baridi. Juu unajua kisweat mwili iko.
Yes.
So the sweat does what? Sinaanza ku cool down. So inakaa ni kama umemweka kwa maji baridi. Inakaa ni kama unamweka kwa maji baridi. So can I just learn how to moderate?
Yeah.
Study your baby. Na akaniambia bebe kitu ilinisaidia sana. All babies are not the same. So tulikuwa tunaenda saa zingine mahali na mamas of the same. Naona huyu ameanza kuvalisha sweta, hata mimi naitisha. Nisaidie na sweta.
Oh my goodness. I relate. I relate. Yeah.
Because you want to imagine, jua huyu amesikia baridi, hata wangu
anasikia
baridi.
Yes. And even the women will be like,
walisha gas. Ile pressure tunaweka guy. Boy, my first time moms.
So, you just go for it and dress up.
But I think with time you can admit, ukishaelewa mtoto wako kwa body yake, hata wakwambie valisha, you're like, it's okay, no problem. One time I went to church, it was hot. I think it was in the month of around April. Either April or August. Hot. Nimevalisha mtoto stocking. Nimevalisha kanafanya tu kuna mama alikuja akashika kistocking ananiambia remove this thing from you. She was so annoyed. But I wish she was a little bit kind.
Yes.
Aniambie tu pole pole, I learned tu pole pole. But anyway, as we are discussing, those are the chronicles of a first time mom. Haya, tumemaster breastfeeding, tumejua kuosha mtoto, tumefika ile space ya kwenda clinic. Siku hizi wanadunga hizo sindano 3 huko.
Yeah.
For me, I think that was my worst experience. Wana mtu yeye anafanya tu kamguu hivi.
And they give a shout, a loud cry.
But I also realize the nurses wanadunganga different. Aki kama wewe ni nurse tu nisamee, wacha tu niseme ukweli. Mimi with my third born, I had to go through some injections every week. And I will tell you, nurse fulani akinidunga nasikia hiyo sindano ikiingia.
What?
Kuna mwingine akidunga anakuambia nimemaliza, anamuuliza are you sure?
I know, yeah.
So I think kuna wenye, this is not out of experience, I'm not a medical doctor. Kuna wenye wanashika tu, unasikia inaenda karibu, inaenda kwa bone, mwingine very softly landing. I think that's what makes the difference even with the babies. That's why some respond with high fevers and great discomfort, while others don't. Because for me, I don't think ni hiyo dawa tunasemanga ya serikali na ile ya private. It's neither here nor there. Because I did both with my babies. With my firstborn, I was going for the private, so tunaambiwa ndio baby friendly. With my other babies, I went for the government injections. And to me, I think either I had mastered the art, I knew what to expect. They worked perfectly well for me.
Nice.
I can't complain. Haya, nimemaliza 6 weeks, 6 months. Before 6 months, we come visit you, your baby is crying. Mtoto ako na njaa. Ulisikia hizo vitu? After 3 months, mtoto ako na njaa, korogea uji.
Every minute. I didn't introduce any other thing apart from breast for 6 months.
Lakini ulisikia hizo story?
A lot of them. And anytime even the baby stretches, if someone is around you, will be like, can you breastfeed? Can you sort the baby? And sometimes you're like, already I shall overfeed. So, yeah, there is that. But when ndio unajua mtoto wako, unajua kama ameshakula ameshiba, they are okay.
Tuchape 6 months sasa. Tumeanza kuintroduce food. Tulikwambia ni foods gani ama ulijaribu na gani?
Wow. Liz, let me get you back a little. One of the things I think I also told myself, I want to do it my way, the best way I know how to. And I remember one of the things, even to date, I keep telling God, like, God, teach me.
Exactly.
Teach me. Teach me. Because really, you're told a lot of things. The day we went to clinic, I go to Jericho Health Center. We met a very nice girl. Yani, very nice. She was just someone. She called us into the nutrition room with my husband and of course with the baby. And she was asking me, so mkipika nyama na ugali, utapatia mtoto nini? And innocently I'm like, sitapatia supu na hiyo ugali. I'm like, I will boil, malenge and something.
Plain, bila chumvi, bila kitunguu, bila kukaranga.
That's what I had in mind, because I think growing up and seeing children, I would always hear that you're not supposed to karanga baby's food, you're not supposed to put sugar, you're not supposed to put any fat or oil. And so me, I went there knowing like that's how it's supposed to be done. And then this girl is like, no, wewe unaweza kula chakula umechemsha tu, haina chumvi, haina mafuta, haina anything. And then I'm like, okay, so what am I supposed to do? And she was like, whatever you guys are eating, make it also
the child's meal.
Child's meal. That way it will ease the work for you, even for cooking every other
tu hapo. Because the hassles mothers go through at 6 months. Unachemsha plain.
Yeah.
Unachukua blender. Unasiaga hapo inakuwa kama kauji kengine. Yes. Unaanza kuintroduce mtoi. Simply because tulikuambia. I like what you said. Learn from your own baby. Yes. What is best for them. Kuna mwenye alianza na popo. That is okay. That is their baby.
Yeah.
Kuna mwenye alienda na hiyo boiro ya waru peke yake, hata hakuweka nini, hakuweka ndizi. Kuna mwenye alianza na ndizi. I think that's okay. We are here simply to say what works for your baby.
Yes.
Please go for it. Please, I beg you, go for it.
Yeah. Like our baby, the first meal I gave her, even when the nurse asked me, I told her, we did it was the night I think during the next clinic now, I was telling her the first time I introduced food, actually it was ugali and nyama. So
Kalekye it had to be ugali, of course.
It had to be, because she told us like, for nyama, if you guys are eating nyama, why should you give your baby soup? So she told me, take a grater. Me, I did not imagine you can give a baby nyama that young. By then I gave mine at 6 months.
Wow.
I don't know if I did. But our nurse was like, yeah, you should. There is nothing wrong with that. Just take a piece. Don't overdo it.
Of course.
Grate it with a grater. And that was it. That's how my baby ate ugali nyama first time we did food.
Whoa.
Yes.
Whoa.
So whatever we are eating for supper, to date, it's what she eats.
I think for me, if I knew this information, I would not have struggled with my first baby. But I think that for me, my challenge was I listened too much. I had a lot of information overload. Not sure if she seemed to resist porridge. I would go like, no, tomorrow we try. So the first 1 week, we were trying everything. But I think also consistency is key.
It's key.
Where you run with this thing, like if you did for a week, introducing like ugali, you introduce it like for 2-3 days, you see the reaction. Then now you can bring your matoke 2 to 3 days, you see the reaction. Mimi 1 day, You don't want to eat. Tomorrow I introduce something.
I think also, by the way, I greatly appreciate, because the nurse I'm telling you, we met at Jericho Health Center. That I love that girl. And I keep meeting her every day. Like today I didn't meet her. She kept telling me, like, don't introduce too many foods in one go. So like, because we do like 2 days ugali, supper will still do the same. And then for porridge, she also told me I can add a bit of BB and sugar. Nisichemshe tu mtoto kiuji, and then that's it. And then first day, you know, you're being told you mara millet, mara soga, mara what, mara a mixture of so many other ungas there, you know. She told us, no, don't go for that. Just go to the supermarket, buy the Famila baby weaning. By that to date, my baby has refused to take another uji. She does Famila baby weaning. And it was, she transitioned on very well. The rest of food, let's say like supper, we are doing rice and you know, kamande, I would still give her that. And to date, so for me, I really appreciate that lady, because she helped me. She told me, don't introduce 100 meals in one go. In a week, just try as much as possible isipite mbili. It's not too, like 2, and then stick to that until you're able to transition to something else. Yeah. So the first week I did puree for what is it? Malenge. And then supper we do just whatever it is that we are eating. So mchana she will have the uji and a bit of, you know, the malenge, which is mashed, well, more like uji, and then that was it.
That just reminds me, when guys come to visit, especially when you mmezaa watoto after COVID. Before COVID was different. After COVID, mko na hizi rules, wash your hands, sanitize before you touch my baby, blah blah blah, da. Where so many things.
You know, to date I still I don't know how the better word to use, but I still order people to like wash your hands before you handle the baby. Even my husband, many times I would always be like, you don't touch the baby without washing your So like to date I struggle with that. Even myself, when I've come even home from work, I don't hold my baby without first washing my hands.
Ujakutana na mtu amekuja tu amerukia mtu. You know, there are visitors who come, probably squeeze wameisha with the COVID. Mtu tu anakuja tu first thing, mtoi. Alafu anasema, "Guy, hata sikuwa nimeoga mkono."
So far, I personally have not experienced, but my husband was doing that a lot of times, and then I would always be like, you go wash your hands. So it would always look like it's but of friends who have come, most of them, they always come and they're like, wacha nioshe mkono kwanza. So that one I would.
Yeah, I hear you. Now you know. The Kalekye before baby and the Kalekye now. What is different?
Why do you call me apostle? One, because I'm always on the move. Guys, I was one person who was always on the move. Like always on the move. But right now, before I even sign up for something, I am thinking, you know, when I was pregnant, I went for missions until I was 36, 37 weeks. The last mission I did when I was 37 weeks.
What?
Okay. And so, like, I kept going. So now that I have a baby, first nimepunguza mrando.
In short, anasema, you have to learn and accept to slow down. But yes, kitu funny,
slowing down is the word.
Ya mzito I slowing down. Sijui kama ni kila mahali.
Ni kweli.
Ya mzito inakimbia tu inakimbia.
Ndio kwa busy.
Lakini wewe unajipata ume slow down. Yes. You're normal.
You know, there is a friend of mine who keeps calling me. Kalekye, unafaa upunguze safari zako nyingi. You're now a mother. And I love it that she puts that soberness in me, because I can go. I can, and we have done missions with my baby even now.
Okay. Wait for baby number 2. Nobody will tell you. Life comes to a standstill.
I know.
Am I speaking like a prophet of doom? I don't know. But somehow life almost comes to a standstill.
Yeah. Yeah, I can say I've slowed down a bit. Yeah. And sometimes it also feels like at some point I'd feel like this is tying me down. I need to, I need to go. I need to move out. I need to hang out with friends.
That feeling, that rudi hapo. By the way, kuna mtu anafikiri pengine si hayuko normal. Unasikia ni kama kuna vitu una miss.
A lot.
You're missing out on something.
I fear of missing out.
Bas. Unasikia kuna vitu mabeste walienda sijui hata normal things like umesikia wameenda Rurashio. Hapo unasema guy akinina miss. But for me I think what from my experience is there's time for everything. And instead of sitting at home feeling miserable, feeling like you're losing out, I think it's good to treasure those moments. Kabisa. Kabisa. Because they run so fast, the baby is out of your hands. And now you have all the time to do the things you want to do. When the feeling comes, please speak to it and tell it, let me enjoy my moment of learning to navigate this new life, this new season that I'm getting into. The last question that I would want to ask. Holding your baby. Ni wako ni wakushikashikwa sana ama wako ni wale wakuekelea chini yako sawa? You know, babies come very differently. Wako ni wakushikwa?
Let me again go a bit nyuma. One of the conversation I kept hearing a lot of times, usizoeshe mtoto mikono.
This thing never changes. I've just come to realize 17 years down the road I had the same message and even now it seems like the same. The gospel has not changed.
Usizoeshe mtoto mikono hata kusumbua when you don't have someone maybe to be there to hold her every other time. So somehow I think I registered that in my head. And so I remember when we the first few months I would always tell someone, please don't rock my baby like this.
I wish I came the first few days. I would have rocked for 2 hours.
I would always tell everyone, my husband, our house girl, please don't rock the baby like this. Because I'm like, if you rock her like this and she gets used to it, it will be too much for me. Like, I don't want to be doing this every other time. So, surprisingly, Liz, I love what you said. You will hold them for some time and then the next minute, they don't even want you to hold them.
Ask
my
me.
Baby, she'll only come to me when she wants to breastfeed. After that, she's throwing herself because she wants to get out of my laps, you know. So, si wakubeba. Once she's done, breastfeeding, you put her down. And she's racing all over the place. So first I feared like, because I had had that conversation a lot of times. I didn't want my baby to get used to kushikwa. Because I would feel like it's going to be burdensome or something. And so, I don't know if I sound like I'm a rough mother, but honestly speaking, I felt like I will not have the energy to keep holding her all the time.
Sasa, for me, my experience was very different. With my firstborn, you just breastfeed, put her on the seat, you do everything you need to do. She's fine. My secondborn decided, I'm on your laps. Until at some point, I'll just be seated without the baby and my legs would be moving. Because I was already used to rocking the baby on my feet hapa. So unapata hata mtu yeye yuko juu nishazoea, mguu tu zinasonga. At one time I met with some friends and I was like, ooh. Then I remembered, I'm not even in the house. The baby is not here. Today, if I tell her come I hold you, she will be wondering, are you okay? I mean, that season is over. It is gone. So what I think frustrates first-time moms is comparing. Hey, yule wake ananyonyanga anakaa chini. Wangu angenyonya, akose kunyonya. We are not doing anything up to the age of 2. Alikuwa anataka hata wakati anaongea, mom, beba.
Allah.
That would be us. Today she's not there. So for me, from where I sit, I always say, do what your baby is comfortable with. Because soon, very, very soon, they just want to learn and explore on their own. Navigate the... Sasa ni won't want to wakimbiza. Unakimbiza, anakata kona hivi akinyamaza kidogo unafukuzana na yeye. So do what is best for your baby. Our watoto wafa. Even if you give birth the same day, Your experiences are very different. But it's good to share those experiences, of course, with those mothers when mlizaa pamoja. Because for me, I always feel you now start the feeling of I'm normal. I'm okay. So don't close yourself in. I don't know whether you would agree with that.
Kabisa.
Don't close yourself in and assume let me learn this thing alone. Nini. Kama mtoto ni wakulia, pigia mabeste. Wale mmezao mo the same time. Wanakwambia bedheta wangu analianga, unasikia uko normal. Very normal. Your parting shots.
Wow. I think some journeys God allows us to go through because He really wants to teach us. And I love a scripture. I don't know if it's Isaiah or where God is saying, I will be the one to teach you. And for me, I took it literally. And every day I keep telling God, like, teach me. Teach me how to do this. Teach me how to just nurture this human being, because sometimes the baby is crying, you don't know what they want.
Exactly.
You don't know what is the problem. Like last night, she has tossed the whole night. I feel the temperature, it's okay. I've not covered her a lot because right now it's very hot. So she tossed the whole night and I'm like, God, what is this? Just teach me. What should I do to make her comfortable? And so for me, I would say my parting shot would be just to encourage moms. Like every stage of the way, just ask God to teach you. For me, that one has been a big deal. Every day with my husband, we pray for the baby, and we pray and ask God to help us learn how best to, raise her up. And
to see what you need to see. Because sometimes, as you're saying, the baby at that age, they're not able to say, I have a headache. Or my feet is hurting, or the diaper is burning me. So it's purely relying on the supernatural source, and that is God, to be able to give you the insight as a mother to know, let me check the diaper, let me check the fever, let me confirm 1, 2, 3 things. And sometimes, as I always say, sometimes they need to cry so that their lungs can be strengthened. Please, I'm not speaking as a doctor once again.
I heard that a lot of times, it's normal for them to cry. But for me, one of the things, I thank God that my baby doesn't, throw those tantrums and doesn't cry that much. But I can't wait for 2 minutes when my baby is crying. Sometimes when she wakes up in the night and probably it's just that she just was stunning and she cries, I'm always running to...
You will drop the sufuria, burn the kitungu and go and rescue. No, we will have this discussion when you have your third baby. Because atalia kitungu kwanza even.
I think that's where I think I need maybe probably to get, because me, the first time she just...
Itafika.
I'm like, go get the baby, or I run to get her. I rather switch
relax.
Of whatever it is I'm
relax. By the time you get to 2, 3, the Lord blessing you to get to that level, atalio unamwambia baba, ngojea nimalize kukaranga kitungu.
I am coming.
Ikiiva unazima moto, unatembea pole pole. Alafu unamuza nini si ati wa. But I think first time mom, unasikia
yes,
you run.
You literally, I am there by the way.
Alikuwa na
sometimes I go and I realize actually she's asleep. You go to get her and then you realize actually she's asleep. Then you go back, you hear her again, and then you come check.
So no worries. First time, that is the experience of almost every mother. As you progress. I promise you, if maybe it is in the next 5 years, we'll have this discussion here, and I will ask you the same question. So how is it going? And it's not that you don't care. It's because you've realized, well, the baby is okay as long as they're not over screaming and over yelling, and there's that level of wacha kwanza ni manage these 2 minutes, nimalizane na what I'm doing, kukaranga hii kitungu, whatever I was doing, then go rescue the baby. However, we are not saying that you leave the baby to scream for 20-30 minutes. No, that's not what we are saying. We are simply saying, I think as a first time mom, you respond too fast, too quickly, too swiftly, but as you progress, you realize it's not that much of an emergency. So you let the baby be for a few minutes and then you move on. So that is the end of our show. I hope you've learned something and appreciated that being a first-time mom, there are things that nobody will talk to you about and tell you about, but you learn on the job. And guess what? You're the best custodian God could give to that child. So do your best, and above everything else, become a prayer machine, a dangerous one for that matter,
Yes.
for that child that you've given birth to. So God bless you, and remember to subscribe. Amen.